very good evening to everyone. Maybe a short introduction. My name is Jaskaran Singh, and I am an ESRM alumnus, as well as a student at the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management. So the topic of my TED Talk today is Emancipating the Mind, the Aspect of Change and Challenge. But before I dive deep into my topic, I have a question for all of you. The question is as follows. Would you climb a mountain given the following scenario? You've never climbed a mountain before. You have no idea whatsoever how to climb a mountain. You have no experience at all. It's going to be cold up there, and there are significant risks to your life. The question is, would you climb this mountain? Well, the same question was also asked to Jack. Now, who's Jack? So maybe I'll give you a bit of background about Jack. Jack is a rich management consultant. He lives with his awesome family in Berlin. A very comfortable life, financially secure. Since he's the founder of a company. And he was asked the same question. Would you climb the mountain? And he was in the same situation. Never climbed a mountain before. Answer of Jack was a straight yes. So he simply said, yes, I would go to this trip. What really surprised me was, without even thinking twice, he said yes. What's the reason? What did really drive Jack to take such a decision? He's a management consultant. It's easy for him to see, okay, the risks are quite high. I am an amateur. But still, he said yes. So this question was always there. And I wondered, why? Why? Why is it? And I wanted to find the root cause. So what we did, and this question was also asked to Jack, why did he say yes? So Jack replied in just 2 sentences. A life without challenges is a boring life. We need to emancipate ourselves from our fears and worries. This was all what Jack said. Just 2 sentences. But if you carefully think, the 2 sentences actually entail quite a very deep meaning. But I was still not satisfied with Jack's reply. So what I did was I researched a bit. And then I found this quote. So I stumbled upon this quote from Friedrich Nietzsche. So some of you might have already discussed about Nietzsche before in your philosophy classes. I would like to read it out. To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. If you compare this quote to what Jack said in the beginning, you would obviously be able to find some overlaps. Even Nietzsche says that these challenges are important. These challenges add meaning to our life. Without these challenges, our life would be meaningless. After understanding this philosophical viewpoint, I also started getting a clearer view what actually drove Jack to take that decision. Suddenly, all these words starting making sense to me. Words like dreams, aspiration, challenges, difficulties, success. All these words started making sense to me. I started understanding what really drove Jack to take that particular decision. And what I understood, as far as my understanding is concerned, Jack wanted to use these challenges as an opportunity to learn, grow, and develop. Well, there is another notion which you can use in order to understand why Jack took that decision. And this notion is of the comfort zone. Now, what is this comfort zone? So, comfort zone is simply an imaginary bubble that all of us have. All of us have this imaginary bubble in our mind. And what does this comfort zone consist of? It consists of all those things, so all those tasks which are easy to do. We've done them numerous times. We have a lot of experience with them, and we repeatedly do them. As a result, they are not difficult for us. It's an easy way out. And this is what the basic human instinct is. we would love to stay in that comfort zone. But what Jack did is coming out of that comfort zone. He wanted to go beyond that comfort zone. And once you go beyond the comfort zone, you reach the learn zone or the learning zone. What is this learning zone? In the learning zone, you start learning things. As simple as that. I mean, learn zone, you start learning things. And you start learning the new skills and techniques. And as soon as you are in the learning zone, then you start going into the growth zone. And in the growth zone, you actually start implementing or applying these new skills that you've learned. And then I found out what Jack was aiming for. So he was aiming to go beyond this comfort zone into the learning zone and then go into the growth zone. Things started becoming clear. Things started becoming clear. The most important aspect is that it is not just humans who are vulnerable to changes and challenges. It is also big firms and corporates who are vulnerable to such things. I will take an example from the technology sector. In technology sector, new innovations, new inventions coming day in and day out, new changes happening. Society is constantly evolving. And this example of this firm called Nokia, the pioneer in the mobile phone industry. First mover, also enjoyed the first mover advantage. But what happened to it right now? Do we see it in the market somewhere? Well, yes, we do, but at that level that it should be? Not really. Nokia lost to its competitors. It was just not able to adapt to the changes happening in the society, to the changes and the trends that were happening in the society. As a result, you don't see it in the market anymore. Now, after some contemporary ideas about the topic, I would like to come to my story. Maybe you can find some overlaps between my story and the story of Jack. So what's my story? I came to Germany in 2015. That was for the very first time I came to Germany. I came here because my father was working for a company and he was transferred here for his job. And we decided I would go to a German public school. Good, nice experience. I went to a German public school for a week. And within this 1 week, I realized this is not really the place for me. I would not be able to grow and develop here. It just did not work. I left the school. In fact, I left the country. I went back to New Delhi and continued my education there. So I completed my 10th grade, S5, in Delhi. And then after 1 year, in 2016, I came back. And during this period, my father was here in Germany. He did some more research about the school system. And then we visited a couple of international schools. And one of them was ESRM. And ESRM was indeed the right choice. Then I started my schooling at European School in 2016. But there were some questions which were always in my mind. Now, what were these questions? I was constantly thinking about them. The questions were, why should I leave the comfort of my own country and come to a completely new country? Why should I leave my near and dear ones back in New Delhi and come to Germany, where I basically know no one? Why should I do the hard work of learning a completely new language and then simultaneously also completing or catching up with my academics? I mean, S6 and S7, it's not easy. And then if you have to learn another language side by side, things become difficult. These were some questions which were always there. But at this time, I was guided by my parents, received quite a lot of guidance from them. And this quote is actually from my father. And this is exactly what he said. Change is the law of nature. Changes are always there. Changes are always for better. Although I was quite young at that stage, but I still understood what my father was trying to convey to me. This helped me to take a rational, a future-oriented, as well as a well-informed decision. So I started at the European school, and things were going well. But my journey at European school was also not easy. So not at European school, but generally was not easy. So S6, S7, grade 11th, grade 12th. So you see these two photos here. One is of European school and the other one is of a language school that I visited in order to grasp the language. This was basically it. This was basically my life for 2 years. So in the morning, I used to be at European school, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then in the evening, used to be at the language school, trying to learn the language. Went on for 2 years. I will be honest with you, no free time. But that hard work did not go in vain. That hard work did not go in vain at all. So I completed my European baccalaureate in 2018 with an overall average of 8.5, German grade 1.5, which I think is quite decent considering my situation coming to Germany just 2 years prior and then grasping the language and then taking exams in that language. So directly after I started my university at the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management. Last semester I was at the University of Edinburgh doing my semester abroad. Presently I'm doing online semester abroad at University of Amsterdam. I was awarded by Frankfurt School of Finance and Management with the student role model title and also the Frankfurt School Spirit Award for exemplary behavior. Later on, I was also rewarded by the city of Frankfurt as the Outstanding Personality 2018 by Mr. Peter Feldman, who's the mayor of Frankfurt. In between, I was also awarded with Deutschlandstipendium, which is the German national scholarship offered by the Federal Ministry of Education and Research, Germany. And presently, I am a part of KAS, which is Konrad Adenauer Stiftung. This would all not have been possible without the hard work that I did at that time. So that hard work did not go in vain at all. And this equation you see on top, hard work equals growth and success. It's true. Believe me, it's true. I'm speaking out of personal experience, it's true. So all those 2, 3, 4 years that I've been here in Germany, I found some golden rules. And I summarized them into these 3 rules. First of them, come out of your comfort zone. From your comfort zone, you need to move into the learn zone, and then you need to move into the growth zone. Had I not come out of my comfort zone, I would not be standing here today delivering this TED Talk. Second one, believe in yourself. Believe in your abilities. Believe in your skills. And do not be impacted by what others think of you. Believe in your potential. Also quite important. Last but not the least, never fear hard work. Hard work is important. Doesn't matter whether you're a student in the school, student at university, in your professional career, you're working, doing business, whatsoever. Now to conclude, I would like to leave you all with a question. Would you climb the mountain given the fact you're amateur, you have no idea how to do it, no experience at all? It's going to be cold up there. There are risks involved. But out of this experience, you would learn quite a lot. You would get out of your comfort zone. You would take up this challenge. And if you work hard enough, you will definitely succeed. The question is, would you now climb the mountain? Thank you for being a lovely audience. This is Jaskaran Singh signing off for today. Thank you.